Live from our studios here in Kokomleme, Accra, this is JoyNews Prime. Coming up, minority urge Clerk to Parliament to disregard letter from Presidency warning him against attempting to transmit to the President copies of the anti-gay bill passed by Parliament, describing the move by the Presidency as a monumental threat to the House and democracy. More as former President Mahama describes the letter as unlawful. The minority calls for full-scale investigation into claims some 7 biometric verification machines in the custody of the EC have gone missing under bizarre circumstances.
The Electoral Commission confirms that 7 of the biometric devices are indeed missing. I urge the CID and the Ghana Police Service giving us the details of their investigation so far.
Also, helicopter belonging to the Ghana Armed Forces makes an emergency landing at Bonso Chrome near Agona Nkwanta. We'll hear from the military and some eyewitnesses. The minority in Parliament are urging Clerk to Parliament Cyril Oting Insia to ignore a letter from the Presidency warning him against any attempt to send to the President copies of the controversial anti-gay bill. The Clerk to Parliament tried without success to transmit copies to the President for his signature. The minority already say the President's countenance is untenable and they cannot be injuncted. The latest is that the minority say the Clerk to Parliament should disregard the letter from the Presidency. There is more in the following report.
The Clerk to Parliament and Parliament as an institution are yet to confirm whether or not they interpret what the Clerk tried to do as having formally served the President of this. Of course, already the minority say they are going to start counting the 7 days that the President will have to now signify Parliament whether or not he intends to sign the bill or not. And then will hold the President responsible for a breach of the Constitution if he does not come to Parliament to, as it were, signify his intention to sign it or not, and to offer his explanations. First, former minority leader Haruna Idrisu says that letter addressed to the Clerk to Parliament from the Presidency is simply untenable.
I'm unable to sleep, and I'm unable to sleep because this is a monumental threat to Ghana's democracy and a monumental threat to Parliament as an institution. President Nana Addo Dankwa's quest of predominance over other organs of state. That is unacceptable and that must be fought politically. What power does the President Secretary have writing to the Clerk of Parliament and not the President himself writing directly to the Speaker of Parliament, as is required of our standing order?
Haruna Idrisu goes on to explain that as far as the constitutionalism of this country is concerned, Parliament as an organ of state cannot be injuncted from performing its responsibilities.
Yes, there is a matter before court, but I'm also a trained lawyer. An attempt to seek an injunction is not the same thing as an injunction. Parliament cannot be enjoined not to perform its lawful function as the legislature of Ghana, clothed under Article 93, responsible for legislation. No organ of state. Subject to the Constitution. The judiciary is subject to the Constitution. The executive subject to the Constitution. The legislature subject to the Constitution.
Haruna Idrisu is warning that his side are going to begin the counting of 7 days necessary for the President to signify his intention to sign the bill or not, and an explanation on why he is not doing so. And if the President does not come to Parliament, they will hold him for a constitutional breach.
What we want to do, and it's part of the matters outraised before Parliament, we must now know when did Parliament remit the bill to the President, and we will count 7 days. If 7 days have lapsed and he has not assented to, and he has not written back to Parliament, nor to the Council of State, will hold the President responsible for a constitutional breach. And he should know the legal, lawful, constitutional consequences of his action. He is wrong in law, he is wrong constitutionally. The clerk should ignore this communication.
If the minority were to make this holding, that will probably pave way for impeachment proceedings to be opened against the president. There are those in the majority I've spoken with today who believe that is far-fetched. They do not anticipate that in the last 8 or 9 months of President Akufo-Addo's tenure, there will be any impeachment proceedings open against him in Parliament. But minority MPs say that they are really taking this matter seriously, while their colleagues in the majority are quite tight-lipped about this situation. We expect that in the coming days, we will get an official communication from Parliament in terms of what they expect to do next. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin himself, has not been around, has been an official visit to the United States, and we expect that when he comes back, Haruna Idrisu says the minority side will make a statement on the floor about this matter and take the matter from there. Reporting for JoyNews, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Now, flag bearer of the opposition NDC, John Dramani Mahama, has condemned the character of a letter from the presidency directing Parliament to refrain from sending the anti-gay bill to the presidency for assent. According to him, it is unlawful for the secretary to the president to author such a letter. The letter, which is circulating in the media, points to a court action taken by some citizenry as basis for the call. Speaking at a town hall meeting at Banda as part of a tour of the Oti region, Mr. Mahama believes such a directive to Parliament is contrary to the dictate of the Constitution. The former president further raised concerns about the tone of the letter.
Afe osofo kasa oka LGBTQ asem nia oba etimi ware oba bema timi ware bema yina yenim se yamamre enya dia yamamre ejitum esum bia ewo Ghana ha bia enjintum Christo sum enjintum Islam enjintum abosomfo mpo enjintum enti eyade a eyechiwade ema yenkrofo Parliament na say omo aye krata a omo wie hu adwuma a omo de call president on no assign na president akase on sign if you say obi de asem no akọ court anti ono obetwen etie ni court beka answer and so no pay me sorry me who letter be a free president secretary ho echo Parliament e man warning say sakrata no mo mfa ma president office mpo na obi obeye lawyer obi oye lawyer bia beka cho say president secretary need to me say obetimi atros a letter no if you say Parliament a constitution and a ashem rama omo say omo ye sa eyi ni wi a omo fa nko president ho enti untimi nka say ma onye na djuma say on famre ompo obetimi aka say obi say ma president and sign enti me twen etie Supreme Court but untimi throw letter and ma clerk say mo fa emma president as Jubilee House or enti no na wo hwe senya otro letter no mpo a enye bu otro letter no bibibi to say o tumi bi echa in Parliament na sa nyoma no say emma amambo no enkoyie enti yedim say ye NDC de ye di mra so na ye behwe senya enyoma beko akosi.
So the former president was basically saying that, I mean, the gayism and lesbianism is something that our culture frowns upon. Even our religion frowns upon it. So it's something that we should be straightforward with it. Now, he says he doesn't understand why the secretary to the president has written that letter to the Parliament asking them not to send copies of the bill to the president. He says that is not supposed to be the case. And he's even worried about the tone of that letter. There's more to be coming on that in subsequent bulletins. But for now, to other stories. The Ghana Armed Forces say a Ghana Air Force helicopter with registration number GHF 696 made an emergency landing in Bonsokrom near Agonankwanta, contrary to earlier report of the plane crashing. According to a statement released a short while ago, the helicopter, which had on board 21 passengers made up of staff of the Ghana National Gas Company and air crew, were conducting routine offshore power line inspection of that trouble gas plant when the incident occurred. Let's share with you details of this statement from the Ghana Armed Forces. It says a Ghana Air Force helicopter with registration number GHF 696 at about 12:30 hours on Tuesday, 19th March 2024, made an emergency landing within the general areas of Bonsokrom near Agonan Kwanta in the western region. The statement continues to say that the whole thing was as a result of the Ghana Gas officers and the air crew conducting routine offshore power line inspection of the Atrabo gas plant when the incident occurred, and the plane had 21 passengers aboard. It says all passengers on board have been accounted for and there were no fatalities. However, they have been evacuated and are currently undergoing routine medical checkup. Meanwhile, preliminary assessment have commenced to ascertain the cause of the incident. It says more information to be released in due course. Earlier, a resident who spoke to JoyNews said the helicopter hovered the area for some time in an attempt to find a suitable site for an emergency landing, but lost its balance and crashed into nearby trees.
We are then gone on a weekly monitoring at this cove, so we're returning from this cove. Just at Bonsokrom and Pinyansa, in fact, descending the hill, we saw a lot of people, including Klagia, Bumbuya, and cars. But as we moved forward a little, we saw the policemen, the fire service. Hey. So our car slowed down, and then we made the inquiry, and they told us that there's been a plane crash, precisely helicopter. And so when we moved a little forward, we saw the wing of the helicopter lying just by the roadside. In fact, I wanted to get down to get closer if we can get some footage, but they told us that there could be a blast. As I'm talking, there have been more than 5 ambulances within the metropolis moving towards the place to pick the injury. But I've also, when I was talking to you, I saw another helicopter around the assembly. At least you know the assembly, they're heading towards that place. So my thinking that there are some fatal injuries that need to be moved to Accra. That's my thinking. Because, of course, they are just close to this coast. So if it's injury that could be treated on that basis, they wouldn't have brought in, because the ambulances who could have taken them to that place. So I'm only hazarding that with the next helicopter moving to the region of the crash, I'm assuming that the crash is fatal. You see, in the morning, if you stay around our place, you are aware that they transport the workers on the rig from the airport to the rig, and they send them back in the evening. So those who are the office at the assembly told us that around 12 thereabout, they saw helicopter hovering around that place, but of course, not having any knowledge about it, they thought probably they are undertaking their owner. Not knowing probably they were finding a place to land safely, but that landed them around the Bonsokrom in Pinyansa enclave.
According to our sources, one of the patients believed to be an engineer of Ghana Gas is being transported to the Kolbu Teaching Hospital for emergency medical attention because he sustained serious injuries in a crash. We'll be following this particular story, and we update you in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the minority in Parliament is demanding that the Ghana Police Service launch a full-scale investigation into some missing biometric verification machines. The minority say they've picked intelligence, which has been confirmed by the Electoral Commission, that 7 biometric verification machines have gone missing. Minority leader Dr. Osu Alata says if the devices are not recovered, it will affect the integrity of the 2024 elections. He was speaking after the leadership of both caucuses had met with the leadership of the EC.
Uses to register Ghanaians into the electoral roll, and also at the same time is used to verify us before you vote, are missing. 7 of them are missing. So I was a bit curious about the matter, and strangely I decided not to bring it out because we are to have a meeting with the Electoral Commission. I could not attend that meeting, but obviously my deputy working with the chief whips were at the meeting, and the Electoral Commission confirms that 7 of the biometric devices are indeed missing. I urge the CID and the Ghana Police Service to immediately issue a statement giving us the details of their investigation so far. I am concerned and worried because that devices in the hands of an unknown person can compromise the future elections that Ghana will have. Who knows whether this is in the hands of a political party, and who knows what that political party is doing with it. I am disturbed, and it brings to bear a number of concerns: the safety and the storage of this important device.
Well, in the wake of recent moves and demands by some parliamentarians for improved conditions of service, some former top government appointees and members of parliament are also demanding a sustainable exit plan for office holders. Now, according to them, the persistent delays in payment of their entitlement and gratuities as enshrined in Article 71 after their tenure in office is affecting their livelihoods. They are proposing that a constitutional provision be amended to rather put them on paid jobs and phase out the ex gratia because it is not sustainable. There is more in this report.
Already a fierce resistance from labor unions and civil society organizations for the adjustments of emoluments and privileges of Article 71 office holders. Article 71 is an entrenched position in the 1992 Constitution and as such has very strict rules relating to its removal and cancellation. It can, however, be amended. The ongoing engagements is for the Presidential Committee on Emoluments and Privileges to collate the views of stakeholders and make recommendations to the President for consideration. Some former MPs and top government officials believe the continuous payment of ex gratia is not sustainable.
I lost in 2012 election. I couldn't go back to Lands Commission, but I need to pursue my political career. And that's what I'm saying, that look, it is better for us to look at a way where some of these people can be absorbed in the institutions in where they were coming from. And by so doing, as somebody also rightly suggested, it might not be a burden to the government. Maybe the person can be a second man to parliament or something.
I think the committee should expedite action and make recommendations that will make it such that we don't have to wait for 4 years for our benefits to be computed. This should be done at the beginning of your contract. You know how much you are going to earn, and then these are paid in bits and pieces.
In the current situation, this country, the policy is such that if you are out of parliament and your government is not in parliament, in place, it's very, very, very difficult for you to get employment. Others are such that, like I gave myself as an example, I've risen to Minister of Information. It will be very difficult for any media house now to employ me because they will think that they cannot control me because of my former status. So I'm permanently out.
7 MMDCs are also raising issues about the ambiguity surrounding the appointment and demand clarity. Dean of MMDCs in the Central Region and DCE for Ejumako, Ransport Nyako, highlighted this concern.
You presume that we are Article 71 office holders. However, the Constitution says that when it comes to our salaries, it must be determined by Parliament. And even here, we don't have that clarity. Should it be determined yearly, monthly, at the beginning of our tenure, at the end of our tenure? Or that the Constitution says that our salaries shall be determined by Parliament. Okay, so until a determination is made by Parliament, we are stuck. Meanwhile, you can't go in there and claim whatever benefits that is due Article 71 office holders because we are not deemed to be an Article 71.
What do you want the committee to do?
So we just want clarity. If we are Article 71 office holders, place us in there, then we know that at the end of our tenure, when determinations are being made in terms of emoluments and other benefits, ours will be determined too. If we are not, then let us know that for the DC, you are not an Article 71 office holder, and so this is how your salaries are going to be determined by Parliament.
Meanwhile, Chairperson of the Presidential Emoluments Committee, Dr. Janet Mpedu, says the President will have the final say on their recommendations.
Now, we hope that we can get our work done so that the President can consider it and make his recommendations. and discuss it with Parliament so that the legislature will be able to then also review it and work on it before we get to the end of the year. It's not in our hands. We will do our work. We will send our recommendations to the President. The rest of it is really out of our control. And we hope to be done by June, July of this year, to be done with our recommendations. And let's remember that they're recommendations. We do not make the final determination. So once we've done our work, the one who commissioned us, we go back to him with the report, and he will then consider it and take it to the next steps.
The Presidential Committee on Emoluments is expected to submit its report to the President in the coming months. This will determine the emoluments and privileges of the current serving government appointees. Reporting for JoyNews, Samuel Mbura.
And when one gets into the Osu Alata community, the first sight that greets you is the tower of rubbish situated at the center of the town. That is where the community unloads its daily waste. With no container to collect it, the situation poses a danger to their health and tourist prospect. Mamesi Nyamiche Thompson has more in the first of the series of filth exhibition.
Osu Alata, a coastal community in the Greater Accra region. It boasts of a rich scenic beauty. With its close proximity to the Osu Castle, it has long been a magnet for tourists seeking a glimpse into Ghana's rich history. However, within the beauty lies a pressing issue that tarnishes the community's charm. The heap of rubbish, located right in the center of the community, not only mars the landscape but poses significant challenges to the health of residents and tourism prospects. The pile of rubbish, mostly plastic, has been producing stench in the community for months. Benjamin Doatiso has lived in the community for 26 years. He tells me a container supposed to be for the collection of their rubbish has been taken away by the assembly.
This is how they take care of the rubbish. This is how they normally dump it here. When the caretaker is not around, those around, they snitch. And they will come and dump the rubbish here. They are using this castle as a tourist center. And when the visitors came and they see this rubbish around, let me say, it's not good for the castle.
The gutters are also choked with plastic waste and layers of silt. A teenager popularly known as Ken Bola has abandoned the duty of desilting it because he is not paid for his services.
We emptied the gutters here. We were brought from Labadi to Osu. However, we are not paid well, so we decided not to work today. But our leaders have spoken to us, so we will start soon.
You go to the beach side where my house is, you come to the beach, the same refuse, but by the time you talk to people, every community, the villagers at the water side, they shit at the water.
Even Ali Mohammed, who was just moved into the neighborhood from Cameroon, is very upset. He wonders why leadership has neglected its responsibility to keep the city clean.
Well, they have Congress people, they have statements, they have people that work for the government that are around here. I think these people should be more responsible. You understand me? They vote them, they vote these people have to go and vote people, that these people should represent them in the parliament. These people should be more responsible. It shouldn't be young people should be calling on their... Everybody, me and you standing right here, that is a spoon, you didn't pick it. You are a Ghanaian, you are standing on Ghanaian soil, you are responsible, you are a human Ghanaian in a human soil, that is a refuse, that is refuse on your left leg. Your responsibility should have picked that, and I should have picked that, and he had picked that, then you didn't find that.
Community leader Ni Addo recognizes the importance of addressing the problem. He tells me there are some measures being put in place to address it.
Formerly, there was a dustbin from the municipal. The people comes outside to dump inside. It is meant for the drain, you see. The people come in late in the night and then dump it there. And that gives the government another problem. Instead of paying to this thing, now it seems today or tomorrow they are going to Jamestown over there, and then Choko and mobilize them too. They will do everything, inaugurate everything there. So there will be a group at every electoral area who will be cleaning the areas. They will give them tools also for whatsoever. You see, and then some small incentives will come in so that the environment will be clean.
But the critical question on the minds of residents is, when will these measures be implemented? Until then, Osu Alata will continue to drown in filth.
This is still the JoyNews Prime here on the JoyNews channel. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Do stay. Well, welcome back from the break. This is still the JoyNews Prime here on the JoyNews channel. The Coalition of La Dadikotopon Associations, an amalgamation of over 30 local associations, has called on the president to intervene for the military to allow them access their lands. Now, during a press conference held in Accra, they said the over 100 acres of land has been allocated to them by an executive order and a committee recommendation from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources.
After a court had made pronouncements, when they were trying to erect the fence wall that today encompasses from the military cemetery all the way to the Air Force Base through Major Mahama roundabout, there was an injunction that was sent to them, and the military disregarded that injunction and went ahead. But even disrespecting the rule of law when the court had made pronouncements, so now, where do you turn to? You go to the court and they will disregard the court. The only option we have is to turn to the president for executive orders, which the president has done as the commander-in-chief, and they are still disrespecting the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Calling on the president to, as a matter of urgency, call the Ghana Armed Forces to order through the Chief of Defense Staff. We are asking the president to tell the Ghana Armed Forces that the people of La are a peace-loving people. Now, the coalition of La associations, together with our traditional authorities, have over the past few months tried to control our citizens, our indigents, from going onto the land and causing any confusion, because we want to be respected as the peace-loving people we are. But every plea on our people, every time we have pleaded with our people, they have come back at us. And now we are telling the president and we are telling the Ghana Armed Forces, from now going forward, we can no longer guarantee that our people will listen to us again. We can no longer guarantee that they will not go out on their own way and cause any confusion, though we are still talking to them. And so, we expect the right thing to be done. We expect the land, the Ghana Armed Forces, to wash their hands off those lands and leave us in peace, to be able to occupy our lands and work on them. Anything aside that would not be countenanced by the La people.
Now, Communications and Digitalization Minister Ursula Osu is urging ICT for Development partners to assist Ghana's health system digitalize to meet the modern standards of healthcare delivery. Ursula Osu, in an address on the ICT for Development conference, touted Ghana's achievement in health and other sectors through digitalization and called for more support from international partners to provide smart and affordable healthcare for the average Ghanaian. The following report has more.
Delivering the keynote address at the ICT for D conference, Sector Minister Ursula Osu said it is government's vision to incorporate artificial intelligence into Ghana's health system to provide virtual diagnosis to non-emergency health cases, and appealed to development partners to come on board and help realize this vision.
Developing world can benefit from simple IT tools like that can train our young medical professionals remotely and enable them to also assist the various at-need populations where they are. And I believe that through technology, we can all come together. I'm using this because I'm appealing indirectly to CRS to think about what they can do to help the healthcare ecosystem in our country and in many of your other jurisdictions through utilizing some of these tools, working in collaboration with our medical authorities to see how we can bring remote learning to a lot more people who don't have access to the skilled personnel that would need to provide in-person learning to them.
Country representative of Catholic Relief Services, Daniel Mumuni, outlined some of the outfit's digital infrastructure interventions that have been implemented to address some of Ghana's challenges in health and digital infrastructure development.
As CRS, we try to integrate information technology in how we do things, whether it's about data collection, how we collect data, and how we also innovate through our programs. So here in Ghana, we've worked very closely with the Ministry of Health, for example, to strengthen the referral system, working closely with the National Ambulance Services to be able to deliver healthcare to the last mile, particularly pregnant women and children in remote communities. And through this project, we've integrated some technology through what we call the Emergency Dispatch Center, where right now a woman in a remote community can call these dispatch centers, which are digitally managed. So they are all fitted with trackers, with a screen where they can see where they are and be dispatched. So that's one of the innovations we're working with the government on.
Director of ICTD4D at the Catholic Relief Services, Nora Lindstrom, highlighted the role of digitalization in addressing pressing challenges and unlocking new opportunities in various sectors in Ghana.
The main purpose of the conference is really to enable knowledge exchange for people coming from different areas, whether they work in health or they work in education, agriculture, and they're using technology. And we really believe that bringing all of these people together to share what they're doing, we can learn across these different sectors. So the main purpose is this knowledge exchange, right? Having said that, we've got 3 themes for the conference this year. The first one is digital to tackle wicked problems. So this is the theme where we're really looking at how digital solution and digital transformation can help us address some of the global challenges that we face in the world, whether they be in health, in agriculture, in education, employment, climate change, you name it.
The 12th ICT4D conference, which is being hosted in Ghana for the second time, is the largest in-person conference on ICT for development in the world. This year's event in Accra had over 700 participants from different parts of the world.
Let's now do some election headquarters stories. And election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, and Chartered Institute of Management Accountant and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Election headquarters for an informed electorate. Now, women's group affiliated to the National Democratic Congress, calling themselves John and Jane Powerful Group, says the renomination of Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman as a running mate of the NDC is a demonstration of dedication to diversity and inclusivity, adding that the historic action marks a critical turning point in Ghanaian politics, empowering women and inspiring hope for a better future. At the press conference, the group praised Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman's nomination as a running mate for the 2024 general elections, saying it would be a great inspiration for women hoping to hold leadership roles in higher offices. JoyNews' Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
The focus of the press conference of the National Democratic Congress NDC affiliated women group, calling themselves John and Jane Powerful Women Group, was on the historic nomination of Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman as a running mate for the 2024 general election. The conference aimed to highlight the significance of the nomination and rally support for her. Convener of the group, Rahina Salifu, highlighted the transformative impact of Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman's nomination on women aspiring to leadership positions. She averred that the overwhelming endorsement of Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman by the National Executive Committee, the Council of Elders of the NDC, and John Dramani Mahama is indicative of a strong party support.
We are gathered here this morning to witness a historic moment in our nation's journey towards progress and equality. We wish to commend the bold and visionary decision made by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in nominating Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman as his running mate for the 2024 general elections. This announcement signifies not only a commitment to diversity and inclusion, but also recognition of invaluable contributions women make to our society and governance. As the largest opposition party in the sub-Saharan belt, we are proud to have endorsed her candidacy for not just once, but twice. This groundbreaking decision did not only set as a precedent, but also serves as a powerful motivator for women aspiring to leadership positions in higher offices. Let us continue to champion diversity, inclusivity, and progress in our political landscape.
Our electorate at Pig Farm here in Accra are divided on what will inform their vote come December 7, and if they will vote at all. This is today's voter's voice.
Enti ye no sisi na o man no se na e kono ye bre pa. Isi e ka se vote a me vote. Vote, who person obi vote ma wa na wa tuaka na ya vote ama wo. Eno anu no. Sika no enwa edin e be bia. Me ya de na me ko gina ewia so e vote ma obi na obi e tena ya komo. So ye we ya chele na me da eyi tabodan mu. Wo be ma obi a vote ama wa na wa tua. Na wa vote am, that's all.
Me a few me abano metu, but the any place na metu abano because nyama nko ye mami. President no was no nya hwi wa magana ye din, ye break too much. Nti a few we the abano metu pa, but me tuma na akufo ado, me tu ama John Mahama, ama na abakonya no so abesiesie Ghana ye, ama ye because wa ma man no wa se o man no kura, enu tira me pese me ntu abano. This year there say nyame mami awon kwa abano metu.
Ye na e ba be break 8 no. Ye vote ama baumia break the 8 ye never break 8 no forward never backwards never yes ye aba na wo so no ye nko yechi en san kofa biom ye ko enim and this time ye ni hwi ye lances cry expire by MPP time no ye lances ye renew ye say cry different lances ye say ye lances D yes ye time no ye nhwe say be ba yechi forward never backwards never ye ko enim ye break 8 no upa umpo e be break. We are the boys for baumia upa umpo unti a obeti ye no
yete metu mama be ba akonya no suru mi hu de oyeye na nana so ba akonya no susu me hu difference wa ma youth nu ye bre ye nya adwuma ye na me ye adwuma wo airport oba ye oba yi nimpa bebre di ma betena fie mitumi hwe me ma nti enu ti na metu mama wo so no na niam ye fine na be bia me ye adwuma so no mi pay bibia ko ye ma me be na ba ye no nipa ebre e
The National Peace Council has cautioned political parties, representatives and media practitioners to be mindful of their utterances going into the December 7 general elections. The Peace Council is raising concerns about the use of insults and tribal statements to score political points. In a heat-up of campaigning for the parliamentary and presidential election, the council wants parties, representatives and supporters, as well as the media, to desist from using words that can put the peace of the country under threat. Nana Boache Yadom has more.
The Peace Council's meeting in Kumasi was political party representatives, some supporters and media practitioners. The workshop is to dialogue on matters that may affect the peace of the country going into the December 7th election, while encouraging stakeholders to resort to peaceful speeches during their campaign. Dr. Harriet Techi is a member of the Peace Council.
During this period of our election in 2024, we would continue to live peacefully as Ghanaians. But the focus is more on our political parties their functionalists and their constituents and Ghanaians in general to make sure that we continue to live in peace, because we have nowhere to go. We have diverse views, yet we need to express these divergent views in a much more peaceful way so that we understand ourselves and continue to live in peace as Ghanaians. We should not, particularly again with our journalists, they should be careful the way they report happenings in the country. They should use language that will bring peace, not rather a language that will bring hatred.
Apostle Bright Sosu also admonished the youth to desist from any acts of vigilantism.
The measures we have in place to educate the youth, to make sure that they don't enter into any group of people who be inciting others against the process. So we're educating the youth, encouraging them never to be part of any vigilantism, because those things will destroy Ghana.
Some party representatives shared the expectations.
Already we stand in the chance of benefiting, because as politicians we tend to rule the country. So as they are doing, we are also letting our constituents and our executives at the grassroots understand the importance of dialoguing, and that is what we're doing here.
We are as a peaceful party, and we talk peace, and we advise our people to be law-abiding, to conduct themselves well. But we've noticed with very serious concern that the Electoral Commission is losing its credibility. And that is an issue that we are very much concerned about, and we've tried as much as possible to talk to them. One cardinal example I can cite is how they recruit officials to manage the affairs of the election.
For JoyNews, Nana Bochedankwe Kumasi.
And I am Samuel Kojo Brest. This is still the JoyNews Prime. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with showbiz. Do stay.